of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Get this out of the way here. Okay, we have the agenda before us. Does anyone want to make any additions or changes to the agenda? I would like to add under new business a discussion of the time change as we head into summer. Is that okay with everybody?
You mean meeting time?
Meeting time,
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll add that, so we're
We're
gonna.
gonna go to MRSAC standard time.
Is that under new business?
We lose 2 hours a day.
Let the record show that all members of the board are here.
Heckling. Oh.
All right, we'll adopt the agenda. Need a motion to do that?
I make a motion.
All in favor, or second?
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Can we have the minutes from February 18th? Is there anything there that anyone needs to correct and or discuss? Anyone, just to be sure, everyone gets those minutes?
We have 2 minutes to approve. We have the minutes of the special meeting as well.
Oh, that's right, I'm sorry. Approve the regular meeting minutes, okay,
And that was, the
so
special meeting was,
everybody gets those,
March 4th.
right?
I don't think I've got a copy tonight.
You didn't? Which?
Of the minutes, I think they just get emailed out.
Yeah, there's-
Well,
And they're
the
posted.
February one could be my fault.
No, I emailed it.
Oh, you emailed it?
Yeah,
Okay,
emailed
okay,
it.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, all right, so there's,
Whatever one you're missing, Colin, we can print it out.
I have no changes to February 18th, I think that was in order. Anybody have any other discussion about that? Okay. I'll take a motion to approve those minutes.
I'll move to approve those minutes.
All right. Second?
I'll second.
Second, okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Then we had our special meeting, in order to get the, information in that we needed to do. That was a very quick, like 5-minute sort of thing. I don't think you were here, Justin, right?
I was not.
Yeah, okay. But it was basically pretty perfunctory. I mean, we just did what we needed to do to do that
On the ballot to school.
situation. Right?
Yeah, I saw the conversation beforehand.
Okay, all right. Anybody have any comments or suggestions about that? Then I'll take a motion to approve that.
I'll move to approve it.
Yes, second, okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Okay. President's report. Okay, we have received, make sure I get glasses on, so I'll tell you this. We've got the guidance and comments on the next step in petitioning for the absolute charter. So tonight, I've got it on new business. We will be talking about that. And we're gonna have to pass a resolution to allow Maggie and I to sign the formal petition. Once that's notarized, which we will hopefully do tomorrow morning, looking good, we'll submit it to the Division of Library Development. They then take care of the ongoing process that occurs at the University of the State of New York Regents. And we're kind of captive to their schedule, but we'll see. In a conversation with our attorney, he advised me that that may take longer than the expiration of our provisional charter. Apparently, the Regents don't work very fast. But don't worry, because they're not going to shut us down. We'll be able to operate till the absolute charter comes in. One of the things that came back from those library development folks in providing us with the 2 documents that we're going to look at tonight was that we should be asking, they said, for a small increase from the school district each year. And we haven't done anything to change that since we started this particular structure of the way we're structured. So I reached out to Darcy Hastings at the school district. She's the one that manages the taxes and those processes and so on. And I got a reply today. We're too late to do anything this year, which I knew that was the case. But since we're going to start our next year's budget process soon, we can give this consideration for the next fiscal year if we need to do that. And there's a young woman named Michelle Taylor of Darcy's organization, and she will be providing me the details regarding how that process is gonna work. So I will pass those along to everyone and make sure that those are included as we begin discussions on the budget, which should start probably next month or very soon after that. Because we want to be ready to have a new budget in place when we start our new fiscal year, so.
Asking for an increase in funding would require a vote of the full board or not?
I don't know, I'm waiting for that
Okay.
information from her. It requires apparently a vote of the community.
Yeah, it does.
Definitely.
Yeah, so, you know, the board would all have to be in agreement as to whether or not we needed one, and then what would be the PR that would go out to the community, and then that would be done through the voting process. I guess it gets a little complicated.
Mhm.
So as soon as we know how it works, we'll know what we need to do, if we need to do it. So I'd say that's the case. Okay? Okay, that goes to maybe. All right, number next is finance.
All right, you got your sheets in front of you. Our spending is down a little bit, but still not where we ought to be. The way I feel about it, we just gotta be so careful here. We're gonna be, I'm not saying we're gonna run out of money, but we've been spending it pretty heavy. And, there's one credit for broad art, and I don't know, Mary and I discussed that again today. I can't find where it is, but as long as they say that they're gonna give us $390 back, we're gonna take it, so.
Hey, don't let me get to send them out.
Mhm.
Everything looks good for right now. I don't wanna move any money around at this time. I wanna keep it in where we're getting a good, credit, or I should say,
Leave enough in there for the interest, Mary?
right,
Yeah,
just leave it alone, so we have to dip into it. And then Marion and I spent a lot of time today. You said you had a report on it? Marion, you wrote something up?
No, I just handed you what she sent me,
Oh, okay.
in the email. She sent us notes. I printed that out for you.
This, JP Morgan, card that we're looking into getting,
Purchasing card.
well,
The purchasing
it's a
card?
purchasing card, but it's also a credit card.
Okay,
It's the same thing.
yeah, right.
This is so complicated. And there's so checks and balances in this, it's actually scary. After listening to this and discussing that with them today, I'll be honest with the board, I would vote against going to this company. I mean, it is absolutely crazy.
Does it involve a lot of time?
It involves just endless amount of information, that we have to have set forth. And also, I mean, we're just trying to get one card, and it actually even has to be sent to my house. It can't even be sent to here, because I'm in charge of the financing, and then I gotta give it to Marion. I don't know, there's
No,
just,
they said it could come to my house. She said they just wouldn't mail it to a PO box.
Huh.
So it can come to my house or it can come to your house, whichever we prefer. It just has to be a physical address because it's FedEx.
Once it's set up, Colin, are there more reports or details that are important that would be involved like
I
in a
can make
regular
more
credit
copies of
card?
this. This is the form we have to fill out.
Is this just to apply for?
Just, well, we've already applied
You
for it.
apply for it.
We've been accepted.
Yeah.
We can have an up to a $5,000 a month credit limit.
Mhm.
I think we agreed to do auto pay at the end of every month.
yep,
And when we go through the training, permissions are customizable, if I understand Avi correctly. So that like with the bank now, I can go in and I can print out the bank statement. I can see expenditures, can't move money, can't adjust anything.
Correct.
That they can set something up like that for me too, because what I do now is I give Colin the bank statement with all the receipts that line up with that attached, and I would do the same thing for the purchasing card.
So is this a one-time thing, or this is a?
I believe it's a one-time thing that we have to go through, and there's more training that Colin and I need to go through.
No,
Anybody else seen that?
Probably
I just
nobody else
never
has
had
seen
to
it.
do a
We
lot
just
of
got it
Probably have
today.
it in a meeting, but can I just look it over
We
real
just
quick?
got it today, so unlikely.
I've never had an experience where you gotta have all this kind of training to get a hold of this card and utilize it. And my question at the end of the meeting is, how would you classify this card?
It's a credit card.
It's a commercial credit card. That's the bottom line.
Well, so the reason it's so complicated is because it's usually dealt with corporations. Typically, the purchasing cards are connected to a corporate credit card. And it is typically for large corporations. I mean, as I was researching this, the requirements were like 2 mil in, annual revenues in order to just get it. And the only reason why it's viable for us is because we're connected with New York State. I forgot the other thing you had mentioned, but I know it was a little exhaustive when I first started having the conversation with him, but this literally is the only purchasing card option that's out there that would be sufficient for us. Everything else requires such a annual revenue that they just won't consider us. And the only reason that they consider us is because they're locked in with New York State.
So if you get through this part, what's the difficulty beyond that as compared to a regular credit card?
I don't know, to be honest with you, Ted, other than I just was absolutely blown away
It's
today
overwhelming,
with
for
all
sure.
the detail.
Yeah.
I mean, the checks and balances, I mean, I don't care, but to me, it's just no different than a regular credit card that you're going ahead, you fill out one sheet of paper and away you go with it.
The difference is we're not incurring debt though. We're paying it off at the end of the month. That's
Oh,
the
yeah,
key
no,
difference.
exactly.
But
The other interest is we earn, I don't think dividends is the right word, but we get a percentage of our purchases back that will be deposited into our operating account.
right, and
Instead of paying interest, we earn interest basically.
On the purchasing card?
Yes, if I understood her correctly, yes.
it's some kind of reward type.
Yeah.
program.
Is it money?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because she asked
Oh,
for the
you go
account
to bingo on
information.
Monday nights and Trent,
Oh,
Lake George on Tuesday. Ted, I don't know, but I mean, I've never heard of a credit card giving you these kind of rewards, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I just don't know, like today, I mean, I went out of here just shaking my head.
Ours does.
Yeah, they're credit cards.
I mean,
I mean,
we
it
get
is
cash back.
overwhelming, I think, once we get through this
yeah,
initial.
cashback or something.
I think once we get through all this, and I mean, there's stuff that Margaret's got to sign, Ted's got to sign, and then Mary's got to sign, and I got to sign, and then it just,
Mhm.
I mean, if
You
it's, I understand, it sounds
the
really
paper
complicated,
trail is absolutely insane.
but if it's just a one-time thing to get it set up, or is it
I
going to
think
constantly be?
basically, yes, but I mean, when they start telling us that they got to sign, Mary and I got to sign up, sit down for more training on how to use this credit card, I mean,
Well, I don't think it's how to use a credit card. If I understood correctly, it's about how to be a program administrator and the tasks that you can do to, and it gives me permissions, what permissions you want me to have, and they're recommending that we have a second program administrator just in case you're not available.
Right.
And then we talked about, my permissions, what I have permission to report a card stolen and request a new one and those kind of things. That's what a lot of the training is about, is.
see, if Marion lost the card, she can't, she's got to get a hold of me and I've got it because,
Sure. Well,
Unless you
that'd be
give
safe
the
too.
you know what I'm saying, it's just, to me, it's like chase a snake around the corner, but that's,
Well,
the only good thing about it is, I will say, that versus a regular credit card or debit card, Marion will be able to look up there when she wants to track something.
Mhm.
And that is important, definitely.
well, you'll be able to use it as though it were a credit card.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It's just,
No, no.
Well, you can't
it's
do
just,
that, help me if I'm wrong, but you can't do that with the debit card.
no, I can use it like a credit card, absolutely. I've been using
No,
the
but
debit card.
You've
Credit
been using it as, but what
It's
has to
credit card,
happen? You have to keep replenishing.
Right,
I have to keep putting money into that.
Is that a burden?
for me, no.
Is that a burden for you?
No, I bring it up to the board every month. How much
Sure.
do you want to put in?
Mhm.
So,
You know, and like, in
So
the report here tonight,
ultimately, those are the two options though, is we continue with the debit card system that we have been doing.
Yeah.
But there was concerns, I think Maggie threw out concerns about having, like, direct bank account information out there, right?
I thought that, a debit card didn't have the same protections that a credit
Doesn't.
card have. But when we had a financial guy here one day, and he said, actually, they do now.
Oh, really?
So I could have been, I'm not sure about that.
So the downside, I'm just the downside of getting this card is this one-time.
Complicated process.
hoo-ha. The upside is it acts just like a credit card. You can use it, you can fix a balance.
Yep.
You don't have to transfer money every month and have that
No,
conversation.
as long as we pay it,
Okay.
we have to pay
You
it.
pay it.
at the end
You
of the
just have
month.
to pay it, and you said you put it on
Payment in full.
auto pay.
Right.
And the upside, that's the upside. The downside is this one time,
Once we get through all
once
that.
we get through that.
Mhm.
I don't know, do you wanna make a proposal? I mean, the last time we got together, we approved going for this.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted the board to be aware of
Yeah,
all it involves, you know what I mean?
Is
To
there
me, it
anything
just
that,
involves
like,
an awful lot more than I realized.
so is there any way that we can, when I say we, I'll just speak for myself, help you in terms of the labor intensive piece? Is there something that somebody can do because it's all falling on your shoulders to
No,
help?
I don't feel there's an awful lot there. I just feel that, I just wanted all the board to realize that like, Ted's name's gotta be on there and Aggie's name's gotta be on there.
Right,
and
'cause they're
there's
the
just an awful lot of,
not much different than some of the other stuff we
you know,
have.
The big thing that she said we needed is we should have a second program administrator, not just Colin, but we should have someone else
and I suggested that would be president.
be the president.
Sure,
Now,
makes sense.
it does, but what happens when our terms roll?
Then
And
everything.
then
The
that,
office, I would think
you
it
know,
would be the office.
Everything is.
But that's
Oh,
like
no.
with codes to the door and everything, though. They
Right.
they have
The
to
office.
consistently
Right, but
change.
just
The
change.
existing permissions and all that are very changeable, nothing's, concrete.
Okay,
We can change that, but they did recommend that, and then, like I said, Avi said he'd also help walk us through it, and he has been very helpful through this whole process, working with me. That, I don't have to be a program administrator, I can be like an auditor, which would basically give me the permissions like I have with the bank right now. I can go in, I can look at the transactions, I can see what's cleared, what money's there, I can print out the monthly statements, that kind of thing. And I do need that access. The big question is whether or not I have the authority to report a lost card. I mean, I think you guys know I'm pretty amiable and I just, whatever you want, we'll do it, And if it gets to the point where it's too complicated and stresses too much time, is lost, then I bring it up to you and discuss it again. So in that regard, I think we have a very good working relationship. The other big thing that we have to let them know is how much of a monthly budget we wanna have. We can have up to $5,000.
Mhm.
I don't know that I need that much because so much of what I do is I can invoice it. Colin's been giving me $1,000 a month. He doesn't have it on there for this month, but,
No, and the only reason I didn't is because
You did that
when I
five
got
last
to
time.
Del Lorenzo, it said they had to be 63,
I have how much?
$863.38.
There's not that much in there. There's not that much. I don't know when she pulled the report, but
this looks like
28.25.
February. so-
yeah, no, because I've been spending money since 2/28.
Well, I
So
think-
I thought I remembered one of the reasons that for months, we've talked about this. We talked about it while I was still an audience member out
I just
there.
smell the horse.
But I thought one of the reasons was also the difficulty sometimes in ordering or doing business with certain companies that wouldn't take an invoice or something. Maybe I'm
Yeah, no.
misstating it.
Invoice,
But you
yeah.
wanted to order shelves or something and you couldn't do it without a credit card.
Well, no.
So
it
is
was-
that still a thing?
What the problem was why I couldn't order the shelves is because at the time they were giving me $250 a month.
Oh, I
Just that.
thought you
So you
wanted
could
to
do the same on a debit card.
Oh,
or
okay,
a-
okay.
What ended up happening was they authorized to move more money and then I was able to
Okay.
purchase them with the debit card.
Well, okay, do you wanna
Well, I
remove that
just-
we don't do this, or? mean,
No, I just wanted the board to be aware of all that
Okay.
it's gonna entail. That's fine. We'll keep going with it,
All right,
as long as the rest of the board
all right.
feels it's you're comfortable with it, that's fine.
I do understand what you're saying, and the meeting that I had was pretty extensive. It was like a 2-hour meeting to talk about one purchasing card, but I know that they said that there would be like 2 training sessions for the people in charge, so I feel your pain for sure.
Right, but we do need another program administrator. Okay,
That's fine, I think those.
Ted wants 2-hour meetings.
All right. So you let that.
I will let her
Good
know
man,
that.
Ted.
I just wanted to bring
Good
something
job,
up.
guys.
Did you have something to say?
Nope, I'm just saying, thank you for taking on those.
You had said you thought we were spending like crazy. If I look at the budget versus actuals for the report that we just got from Tammy, we're only at 69.7% of the budget, and we're 75% of the way through the year. So I think we're doing all right. I don't understand what you're saying.
Well,
This
this money,
is a number,
the money that we've got here in this, I know you're saying is here, but
it says at this moment. Oh, so this is
When you
gonna
look at
add,
this, this
this is
has
gonna
gotta go.
add to it?
this has got to last us,
This was February.
this has got to
For March, actually.
this has got to last us, even though we're coming to the end of the fiscal year, this amount here, that has got to last us until we get our tax money from school again.
Right.
That's what I'm saying, and that amount, to me, isn't a lot.
We got the tax money in.
Okay, well,
That's all I'm
all right.
saying.
Well, I think that'll kind of get washed out when the group gets together to talk about the new budget, right, in terms of where we're going,
Right.
and taking a look at how we spent things. I mean, some of these, if you look at them, and I went through the whole, some of them are over, some of them are under, but
Right.
I was just taking a broad brush in terms of we're 3/4 of the way. This is a report of supposedly 3/4 of the way
Well, we're 3/4 of the way through this
this year.
fiscal year.
Right.
But we're not as far as our annual budget money
Right,
to get us through
right.
until we get our next tax check.
Right, and at the 200, and I don't have that one in front of me here, where's that number? Here it is, 300 and,
What do you got?
yeah, you got between the two
244, and then you got
and
38,
68,
because you
67.
don't want to touch these.
Oh, you don't want to touch the
CDs.
CDs, well, those are more like a reserve.
Right.
Sure, okay, so you got about, all right, 192, it's gonna be close.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right,
That's why-
so we gotta watch it, I guess.
Yeah, we do, you know,
All right.
I'm not,
That's good,
I'm not
I'm okay with that.
saying, I'm just looking at it like it's
I don't think we're
my
going,
money, and I don't want somebody to say, geez, and Carl, we're in trouble
all
here.
right, we're not going crazy, but we're very close, okay. Got it,
All right, thank you.
good, thank you. Anything else? Finance?
Can I ask one
Sure.
more? I'm sorry. Our fiscal year goes from July,
July 1st to June
but
30th.
the taxes come in January?
Yeah.
We get it in January. We get this
It's got to
90
run
in January.
January to January.
Okay.
Okay.
Just wanted to understand that.
That's just a part of the process at the school district.
Now, Marion, how much do you feel you need, because I did not put that in for expenses for April.
Okay, I'm not sure how much I have left in the bank. I haven't checked. Last time I checked it, I think it was just under 500. I don't necessarily need $1,000 every month,
Okay.
but that's a comfortable budget, so I don't.
So if I make a motion to add 500, are you comfortable with that, with the 500 that you got?
Yeah.
Do we need to prove that every month? Or can you just?
Well, I don't know, I
If we
think
have
it's
a limit
important
of
that everybody
1,000.
knows what's
All
going
right, I
on.
agree with that,
You know,
but I'm not sure.
so I don't know that we need to make a motion on it, but I just want the board to know, because it's not on this report.
Got it.
So I'm gonna add 500 on this report.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anything else on the finance side? Do we have a secretary's report?
We have one.
Whoa,
Do
hey.
you want to make a motion to accept
Oh, do you
this?
want to do that? Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah,
Yeah,
the PDF.
yes.
I'll make a motion to
All
accept
right,
this.
motion to accept
I'll
that report. Second, all right, any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, good, we're good.
I do just have one
Sorry.
quick question on the JP
That's all right.
Morgan case. JP Morgan, how much of a credit limit do you want me to tell them that you want?
I thought we
set?
said 5,000.
That's the maximum we can. It's just whether or not you want that to be it. We can have it as little as 1,000, whatever you guys feel. I have to let them know what we'd like it to be.
What,
We're gonna be supervising it, it's gonna be in front of our face
what's
anyway,
the
right?
difference?
Oh, absolutely.
I'd say go to the max, because then if something comes up and you really need to use the credit card for $4,000, you've got
Okay.
it. And we'll be approved. So it's not like, you know,
Well, I can't spend more than $1,500 without other stipulations
Right.
going on, so.
Mary's gonna go to Acapulco or something.
Sure, sounds good.
So we'll leave it at that. All right, very good.
Yep.
Secretary's report.
I just wanted to say for everyone assembled here and everyone watching, there are 2 seats open that will be voted on this spring. We have petitions and instructions. They're on the table in the front of the library, and they're also online. You basically need in order to run, you need to be a registered voter in the district, in the school district. Living in the school district above age 18, you need to get 25 signatures on a petition. So all that information is available online and in the library.
The school has it.
And I
right?
think
And the school has, yeah, it's at the school as
the
well.
deadline for petitions was like April.
April 21st by 5 PM.
Yes, and the petitions need to be turned into the school district clerk, Mary Bisher, at the Townsend.
At the office.
The office of the elementary school, yep.
Are we gonna do any other sort of advertising for this, or is this somehow pretty well known? I was gonna call,
It's on the website,
is
right?
it on website?
Yeah.
I was wondering
And we
if you-
can Yes.
Okay. It's probably too late to put some, I was thinking something about the Edinburgh newsletter. We get that, and some people get that, but it's too late to
Some
put
people
something
live
in.
at day, that too.
Yeah, I know, but some people hit that. How many copies? You get about a dozen copies of that.
Chronicle.
Yeah.
And we
All
can
right,
put
well,
something in the Chronicle if you'd like.
well, talk it up, folks. Anybody that wants to run. Anything else?
No.
Okay, thank you. The manager report.
Okay,
Here it is.
I'm right here. There's a lot.
That's
Yes. Oops, sorry. No worries. Some of it we've already talked about a little bit, but, I just have one minor correction that I noticed, because I always refer to last month's report when I do the current one, to make sure I'm not redundant. And I noticed that there was a expenditure listed as Empire Pizza for $34.50, and it was actually Amazon. The amount was correct, just the vendor was incorrect. JP Morgan, as you know, they have the participation agreement. Colin and I met with Jasmine today. We've just gone over all that. We had our fire inspection today. The inspector was very pleased with the basement. And we just had one comment that the door stuck, and Colin has actually already fixed that. I had some very exciting news. I don't know if you guys remember a few months ago, I applied for a grant through LARAC to receive funding to help cover like painting classes. We are going to be a recipient of that $5,000 to help cover the cost of the paint. I think it'll be next month though before I get it, so I'm very excited about that. The repair and painting of the library walls is set to hopefully start by the end of this month. I spoke with the painter a few weeks ago, and that is his hope is to get started by the end of this month. And of course, we're still waiting on the purchasing card. I did have, you guys all have a new page for the strategic plan. When Colin and I were chatting with Robert on another matter, Colin pointed out a sentence in the old one that talked about the library continued operating as head of the Missouri Public Library into 2021 under its absolute charter. And it was incorrect. The lawyer said it was absolutely incorrect because once we became Rockwell Falls, we operated as Rockwell Falls. We didn't continue to operate as head of Luzerne. So I just changed that wording and I gave you guys all a fresh copy of that said we had to change that. That was Robert making that correction.
So we'll put that in.
Yeah, replace that with your page 3. Nothing, it's just changing the wording a little bit that we operated as Rockwell Falls when we became Rockwell Falls. So, and then, I lost my place in my own notes. I gave you guys all, there's a form that you have, there's with no arrows drawn on it. It's the updated, it lists the names of the rooms. Mahoney has that. They have updated it per Dawn in our system. And I have noticed that the term Adirondack room is popping up, young adult room is popping up when a code is is thrown. And then there's another map that's identical where we just drew the new, exits, because we've got to hang those up to be, for fire code and whatnot. Maple in April is the end of next month. I reached out to Sue Wilder, and she responded to me as a non-for-profit. After reading it closer, I apologize, Ted, I was not completely accurate when we spoke quickly. It's not free, it's a $25 fee, normally it's $75.
We'll take it.
And I can pass this down so everybody can look at it. But they're looking for a 501c3 status number. We do not have that. But I emailed her back and asked her if our tax exempt letter would be satisfactory. Is this something you guys, I know it's according to the purchasing policy, but okay that I just, if she'll take a debit card to just pay it? Or do we, I don't know if we need a check, if we can,
Right, I doubt
how you
she'll
want
take
to do
a
that?
Debit card, I don't know though. She might,
I don't know if she does. Usually it's a check, and I know I can't write checks.
right.
And I wanted to have this, approved in time to send the check, but I've not heard back from her to know if our tax exempt letter, because we're not a 501c3. As Ted and Colin know, we had countless conversations with Robert about this. So if they won't allow that, then we're probably looking at the $75 amount for the tent, but I still think it's worthy for us to be there. It's part of our strategic plan to be out in the community.
Right.
And if it's anything like the Fall Fest was in October, usually Maple in April is better attended. It really made an impact on the community. Our patronage has increased since we did the Fall Festival. I mean, even then, we were gonna be, oh, the library's open again, and we're like, so we've been open for months now. But yeah, people were really excited to hear about the programming, and we've been working very hard at setting up our summer schedule. We've reached out to the Historical Society, the Lake Association, and the Hadley Youth to coordinate summer programming, because I want to have our calendar done so we can have it for people to grab at our tent.
Is Lake Association the Fourth Lake community or?
No, they are actually a lake association. They look at preserving and caring for Lake Luzerne itself.
Got it.
Last year, we did meet with the Fourth Lake group, and I didn't get an awful lot that they wanted to do an awful lot of programming. Did I misread that? I know you were there.
Yeah,
They expressed interest in doing
yes.
some programming.
Okay,
They thought that they could offer, that they had some programming ideas that they could offer us.
okay. Because when we went up there, I felt like more they just kind of wanted to come to what we were doing, but I can.
We had just opened,
Right, we
and
can-
I think
I can
that was
definitely
the
reach-
focus.
I
but
can
they-
definitely reach out to them.
But when we were having the focus groups, there were definitely people there who said that they thought that the community had some program ideas to offer.
Okay.
And they've said things since then,
I will
when
reach
they've
out
been
to
in
them.
attendance.
I know there's one lady who is very happy to volunteer and help us with what we're doing. And I have heard back from the Lake Association. They're working with us again to do some children's programming, and they have some adult programming that they want to do. I've heard back from the Historical Society, have not heard back from the Hadley Youth, and I emailed everybody. I emailed Jean on the 25th of February and the other two on March 1st. So just waiting to hear, but we do want to have things solidified by the end of the month. So we have time to design our brochure and our calendar and have everything printed. Items to discuss. I emailed everyone the completed annual report. And it does need to be approved. And I have to let Pamela know that it has been approved. I apologize, there's a typo. It was emailed on 2/21,
I
not
thought we did that
200.
last time.
No, it wasn't done.
Advance.
We were still having financial things.
Okay,
But I thought we approved it with just
Yeah,
that one
that-
thing
yeah.
that needed to be,
Yeah.
like we
Oh, I was,
pre-approved it pending.
okay,
that
I
one little item.
was
I
not
thought,
under that
yeah.
impression, but
Did we?
I thought we couldn't approve it until it was done, but.
Oh.
I
you
thought I
wanna approve
remembered
it
like
again?
you did, so we can,
Okay, well,
We can look back.
yeah,
Make a motion to approve it?
I'll move to approve it.
I'll second it. We've all seen it, and we did approve it pending those few changes, et cetera. So any further discussion on that?
No, I don't have it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Done.
and we
Talk
already,
about the purchasing card.
yeah, we already talked about that. And after, because with having extensive conversations with Tammy, the upgrades for the alarm and the security cameras are considered capital improvements. And in order to do that, because that's not in our budget, the original budget that we did, last fiscal year, she said money can be moved from reserves, and I know we've talked about moving money from reserves before, but she says she has to be told that X number of dollars are being pulled from reserve and what category they're going in. And I have,
I'm sorry, these are just, being in a reserve is just in her budgeting, in her,
well, what it is that
It's in
we
her
have,
system.
it's in her system
It's in her
for
system. We
categorizing.
want to try to keep track of the
Sure.
capital
Right.
improvements.
because that's not
Right.
part of our original
It's not the
budget.
operating budget.
It's not part of the operating budget,
But
right?
it's just the way she categorizes them.
We were,
Right.
Okay.
we were really, at a loss when we were doing the budget last time. I mean, we
Right.
did not designate specifically reserves. And I think when we go through the budgeting process this year, we should look at what all that money we have in CDs and so on, and actually designate like capital improvements, maintenance issues, emergencies. And so that way, when we report, it doesn't look like we're rolling in dough, which we're
Right.
not. It's
No.
like,
No,
for
we're
that
not.
Right, I
particular-
mean, we do have a maintenance and repair budget,
It's a budget, yeah, but then
But,
there's these
um,
things that crop up and all of a sudden you need a roof.
right? But it's like this, these are upgrades that, and, the other two are line items, I don't know, I pulled up the original budget. Under supplies and materials, we have miscellaneous, $2,902, not really sure all that, but I'm proposing that we move $2,402 of that budget into capital equipment. And that would leave $500 for miscellaneous materials, which I'm considering to be like puzzles and STEM kits, things that are not books or DVDs that are already at the category.
Okay.
So it's not adding any money, it's just moving it. But the capital improvements for the security cameras and the updated security system, that is moving money from the reserve. It's adding money to the operating budget to cover those
But that's
costs.
all on paper.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, the funds for the computer should also be under capital equipment.
Right.
That money is already there. It is a little bit more, there's a note in parentheses there. For the software. Apparently Microsoft no longer considers public libraries educational institutions, so we're not getting the same tax break, pricing break, so it's an increase. And of course, it's an increase to sales, so it gets passed on to everyone else.
So these moves that you're proposing, you're saying we would.
The board has to approve them, and then we have to let Tammy know that it's been
So
approved.
just for the sake of complete clarity here, $4,060, does that need to be approved and would Colin needs to do something about that?
No, the computers came in under the budget, the 3,730 that's already part of the operating budget. It's just an additional 330 because they're more expensive because of the software.
So we have to approve 300 and,
I just think we're all kind of at a loss here because
Okay,
we see the numbers, we just want to know, is there actually money that's moving or are we just using
Recategorizing.
terminology here and recategorizing?
some of the money, well, it's not really moving, it's changing the budget line. It's
We're
changing-
recategorizing.
Right,
We aren't.
we're
having
recategorizing.
Do we need to approve that?
Tammy said we did, so I
Who
just,
did?
Okay.
Tammy said it?
yes, and then,
So
but I
that
will
would be
say,
all, that would be the 18,920 and the, what you moved from supplies and so on. We can approve all those in one swoop here, can we? It's all on paper. This is not, nothing, no money is, these are all, this is a big pot that we never did say, this is for this is for that, et cetera. So I think that makes sense. Because then when we go to do the next budget, we'll actually have an idea a pretty good idea of what those capital expenditures were and what we need to put aside in terms of a reserve for that stuff as well. I think, to me, that makes a lot of sense from an accounting point. Okay, so,
I make a motion to approve it.
okay, I will second that motion. I think that's really important.
Okay.
Any further discussion on that? All in favor?
All right,
All right, we did it. Good.
Okay, and I think Colin's already got it on his sheet.
You're gonna fix
Should
that?
you half down for the window to be repaired, right?
Yep, I got that on there.
And then I
Yeah,
know, Ted and I've already talked that we want to do this next month because we got so much this time. It's come to my attention that Teddy Walker, who is our cleaner, has not had a raise since January 4th, 2023. My guess is it's because of all the hullabaloo that's been happening around here. But would like
You
to,
know, guys, Marion, to put together some details.
yeah,
Regarding.
I've got to, I'm gonna reach out
What
to
other
Teddy
people
and
do,
find
and
out.
whether that's important. And I'm assuming, and I made that assumption, I hope everybody, Marion really is Teddy's supervisor. I mean, we make the decisions relevant to those increases and so on, they say they good for any member of the staff. She's the one that makes those proposals, so, yeah, we'll put that on, next time, we'll have to do tonight on executive, so you can do that.
And then the rest of it is, you know, statistics, change door deposits, expenditures. Colin has the change door deposits in his report as well. Programs that we've had, upcoming programs, and then the graph that Claire does so beautifully for you. So,
I like it that you're reporting on what goals we're actually moving toward in terms of the
Yeah.
strategic plan, that's good.
in terms of statistics, what percentage of the statistics are people coming to events and what percentage are people who are coming to the library to use it traditionally, like a library traditionally would be?
the green line shows the program attendance.
This one. Okay.
So the events are on the green line.
Yeah,
Mary, can you just tell me, like, on 219, you had bingo. Can you just give me a rough estimate how many people came to that?
do you remember how many people we had for bingo? That was for
No.
teens.
No, I have to get this question.
I just wondered, and then on the 28th, you had game night. I was just trying to get an idea how much.
Well, the game night, we average about 12 or 13 kids plus parents that come, so there's probably, what, 15-ish, 15, 16 people per team game night, counting the parents.
And bingo, how many?
I think it was about the same, wasn't it?
Roughly.
Probably, it was very popular.
Okay.
We've actually had some requests to do bingo for the younger age and the older ones. We don't do it, obviously, we don't do it for money. If they get candy and bragging rights. So,
No, right, I just wondered.
So do you keep track of attendance numbers for
Yes,
events
we-
specifically?
yes, we have a spreadsheet. Claire has them at the desk.
Could you
That-
share those on this report next month?
Sure.
Just for each event, like this many people came, this many people came, that kind of thing? Thank you.
Yeah.
And I had one more question. We got new computers here.
Yes.
Where are the old ones? They're here?
They took the old ones back to recycle them. He said they're not gonna be much use. We have no monitors for them.
Who took them?
So, we don't have a monitor for them.
So you couldn't hook them up to play games on them or nothing?
Yeah, we could, but we didn't have a monitor. We'd have to buy monitors.
Is that regular? Is that a part of their program?
Typically, yes. He said we can keep
Are we
them.
required to do that though, I guess is my.
Are we
is my
required to
ultimate
return
question.
them? No.
Yeah. Because I mean, taxpayers did pay for them, so we just made a donation to sales.
Well, they're gonna recycle them because the software and everything's outdated. They have Windows 10 on them. Windows 10 is being done away with.
I just wondered if we set them up in here, excuse me, so kids could play games on them, possibly. Or my other theory, I had it written down here, if we wanted to donate them to like the Stony Creek Library, that literally has nothing. That was just my thought. All right.
We don't get a credit for giving them those back,
That's it.
but
No,
when we upgrade.
no,
No, okay, so, but they're ours to do what we want.
there are to do with what we want, yes.
So this time you recycle them. But
This
maybe
time I
next time
recycle
we
it
can
because
take it
we talked about it and we're like, well, where would we put them if we kept them?
Well, I guess my point is they belong to
Yeah,
the Rockwell Falls Library.
They really do belong to the taxpayers, so
Well,
Well, we have to buy
I'm just
mine.
saying, I'm not trying,
we should be careful about that in the future. And I know that with, especially with Sal's, it's like common practice, just do what your common practice is. But I think we should be very careful about that. And I think that's a great idea about Stony Creek. They pay
Yeah.
double taxes. They pay for theirs and they pay for this library too. So if we can,
That's right.
we can
I
be a
just
help to
try to
them.
help them.
Yeah,
We should be
no.
a help
Paint
to
or
them.
whatever, that's all.
Yeah,
If they could use them.
Right, absolutely.
Right, yeah. No, I
Yeah.
do tend to, like, if we have a book, we get a book donated and we've already have it, I usually offer it up to Stony Creek first, that kind of thing. But even if we gave them the towers, they're just small, they're about the size of a DVD player, they wouldn't have monitors to go with it.
Yeah, but you can get it. I mean, I'm buying a monitor for my office desk, I'm gonna hop on Amazon when I get out of this meeting, so it's easy enough to do that.
Yeah, they're not that expensive.
All right.
If you find have a place for them, that's good, all right, it's a good point, we'll keep
Thank
that in mind. Any other questions for Marion on this? Are we? Okay, you good? Okay. I don't have any old business that I knew of for this meeting, and somebody said we had any. So we can move to new business. Let's do, the two things are about the same. The first one is two things. We have to do a resolution. I did send this to everybody, but if you'd like, I could read it for the record or not. Okay, so this resolution is we, the undersigned, being the president and secretary of Rockwell Falls Corporation, organized and existing pursuant to a provisional charter granted by the Regents, hereby certify the following is a true and complete copy of the resolution duly adopted by the affirmative vote of not less than 3/4 of the whole number of trustees, that would be 4, at a meeting held on the 18th day of March 2025, and that such resolution remains in full force and effect. We resolve that the Board of Trustees petitions the Board of Regents for issuance of an absolute charter. Further, that the President and Secretary of the Corporation on behalf of the Board are authorized to execute a petition to be addressed to the Regents of the University for such purpose. And then Maggie and I have to go to a notary and sign this in front of the notary. Okay, so that goes to them. And then the petition, this authorizes us to send the petition, which goes to the Regents. We, the undersigned, being the President and Secretary of Rockwell Falls, hereby apply to the Regents for issuance of an absolute charter to preface the provisional charter of Rockwell Falls, and do make, sign, and acknowledge the following statements. The name of the corporation is Rockwell Falls Public Library. We had a provisional charter that was granted on May 4th, 2020. Since the issuance of the provisional charter in 2020, the library has been operating effectively to provide and expand library services to residents of its service area. And fourth, the trustees hereby request that the provisional charter be made absolute. So we have the petition, and we have then the resolution to do this petition. This came to us complete as it is from the library development people who had our preliminary submission. They had no questions about that. And we sent them the check for the fee, et cetera. So once we do this, the way I understand it, it's in their hands to push forward through the Regents and get us the absolute charter. They may have a question or two, I don't know, but the Regents may. At this point, that's where we stand.
Okay.
So any questions about that? It seems pretty perfunctory to me. I'll entertain a motion to adopt a resolution and to authorize the petition.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Maggie and I have a job to do tomorrow morning. We will get this done. I am of the habit, I don't think anybody would object to sending these things. I send them by email first as a scan, but they want the originals. So I send them return receipt requested so that I know that they got it. And it's an extra couple bucks, but I think it's really worth doing it that way. So, okay. And then the last item we had, which we approved tonight, changing the time of the meeting. I don't never quite understand why we've changed the times of the meetings anyway. But it's 6 o'clock in the winter and it turns to
Because it's darker.
6:30 is supposed to be, because it's
Yeah.
lighter.
Yeah, some of the ladies that were on the board previously, they didn't like driving in the dark, and so we changed it for them.
Couple had a long ways to go.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems pretty confusing.
I know, all the boards I've ever been on for evening meetings have them at 7 o'clock, but, I mean, I would prefer that, but I'll go with whatever the board thinks is appropriate. Hey, do we need to change? You think 6 is too early? Should we go to 6:30?
Does it impact you guys in a way that is, one way is better than another?
7 works better for you guys.
6 is easier?
So Josh, it's mostly you and me whether we get to eat dinner. So,
I can make whatever work. I have zero preference.
yeah, and I can get here I worried that I couldn't necessarily get here at 6 because I have to be in Albany
Yeah.
on Tuesdays, but it hasn't been a problem.
I've always
If there was a
been,
bad crash, I'm like.
I've always been of the feeling that 7 was an appropriate time, but I don't want to push that on anybody if people feel that's wrong.
So that would just impact their hours because they're required to approve overtime hours and all that kind of thing. I think that would be the primary
Right.
factor.
Because the
to
library
take into
closes
account.
at.
Right.
Right, but remember, we are only open 38 hours currently, so we have to find another 2 hours a week. And not that that's hard, but
Found, huh?
yeah, we have to find them. It's so hard. We really have to
Right,
dig.
right, right.
I think in the summer at 6:30 would be a bit better.
Okay,
be honest with you.
All right. About 7, is 7 too late?
No,
7 too
later
late?
the better, because.
I'm just pushing, you know.
Lots of times I'm still.
7's pretty late.
That's too late for you. Okay, all right,
It's too
all right.
late.
6:30? I go with 6:30.
So
All right.
we're keeping it the way it is, that we
So
go
we're
to the
gonna
summer hours at 6:30.
Going to summer hours
Well,
and.
I would say make it consistent across the board.
Yeah.
Why not?
But,
Why
like,
not just
don't
6:30?
change it at
Yeah, we
all.
can just do it at 6.
All right.
Yeah.
Should we make that official?
2 mile drive.
Mhm.
6:30,
6:30.
all year.
6:30 forever.
Okay, so we're making a new motion. It's gonna be
All right, somebody
6:30
wanna
for
make,
almost a year.
somebody make that motion, all right,
I'll make a
Colin makes the motion, 6:30
I
for,
second it.
second from Josh, all in favor,
And it's going
Aye.
to be effective starting in April,
April.
next month.
next month, yep, make sure, maybe, Claire, put a little blurb on the front of the thing saying, you know, hey, we're switching to the new hours so people don't show up and, oh, you know. All right.
Well, we could always have, cocktail.
Before we go to
Music
public
is
comment, anything else for the good of the order? All right, we'll entertain any public comment. Do you have any?
Thanks, everybody. First of all, Reed Gardner, I'm just listening to Colin's report and remembering a little bit of what I used to do back in the day. And the concern about the money that's available, that we have now, that you have now, is all that will be there until the next tax money comes in.
Correct.
As long as everybody's clear on that. So then in the interest of creative financing, this is just, I have no idea if this is possible, if anybody's looked at it yet before this, but I wonder often if there's any chance or opportunity to change our fiscal year to correspond with when our taxes come, so that our tax year, our income year, and our fiscal year are the same thing. Because right now, we're looking at the percentage of the budget that we've used, and it looks good, but we have to remember that all that money has to last until we get those taxes in December or January. So I don't know what's involved, I honestly don't, but it's just, has always seemed to me like it would be so much easier to figure out if we could align the fiscal year with the calendar year, which is when our taxes come. So I don't know if that's, I'm happy to help look into it, but I don't know what's involved. Maybe it's not even possible, but it just seems like it would be easier.
Definitely a Robert question, but it's a really good
Yeah,
suggestion.
it's a good question. I can ask. Okay, okay, great, thank you. Fiscal change, okay. I will do that. All right, any other public comment? We're good? Okay, so I move we adjourn to executive session for discussion of Marion's appraisal. And then we'll return after that's over. Okay, all in favor? Oh,
I'll make a motion.
okay.
Go ahead.
Move to,
Adjourn to executive
Second it?
all in favor?
Aye.
All right, we shall do that.
Thank you.
We'll move to the back room. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
We
What's
don't,
that?
we don't need Marion to say, right?
Marion